everybody! My name is Nightfireox. Welcome. If this is more than your first time here, then welcome back. If you're new, then welcome. Today we have two things going on. We are doing our Omniscient reader stream, so reaction and discussion about that, and then a little later on tonight we'll be doing some Ella Seed as well. I mentioned before that we're kind of switch things up a little bit, so our new chapter reactions will stay the same. However, when it comes to the other stuff, I'm gonna just, instead of just doing 10 chapters, I kind of play it by ear now. So if the chat is really into it and they want me to keep going, then I'll read the 10 chapters. If not, we will find a stopping point, and we'll do that probably around the hour mark or so. Will probably be when we do that, because I know everybody was talking about well, not everybody, but there were some people saying that they would like to see smaller stream times. So that's kind of the plan. Unless everybody's just into it, and then we'll continue. That's how it'll work. We have quite a bit of things after this that we need to react to. I mentioned that once I finish Tower of God, the reread, I probably would leave that day empty, so that way I'm just streaming 5 days a week instead of 6 days a week. I'm pretty sure that's what we're going to do. So there's that. Now, the schedule kind of changed this week. Sorry about that. So the goal was, I had a painting class that I took on Tuesday, so that's why I wasn't here. And then Wednesday, I mentioned on my Twitter that due to the hate raids, I was going to be protesting with other streamers that there's something that can be done about the hate raids. I do not want to hear the fact that there's nothing that can't be done about them, because it would be so easy to implement something. My husband is a computer programmer, and I got his opinion on this. But he said it would be so easy to implement something where if a raid starts, you can just report the raid, or ban everybody who came in through the raid. Not ban them, but kick them from the stream, who came in through the raid if a hate raid occurs. That would be something so easy for them to implement. I don't know if they're going to do anything about it. Twitch is usually very good about listening to their creators, so I feel like something would be done with it. And also, if you're somebody who's experiencing that kind of stuff, don't forget to fix your moderator settings. If you have a moderator, that's great. I know not everybody, especially starting out, can have a moderator. I was lucky enough that one of my friends that I know in real life wanted to do it for me. So that that helps, because like, I may not show it on screen, but there are times where people will pop up in here and just say really negative and rude things. Luckily, it never gets to chat, and I just delete them. And you know, I try to be really fair to everybody, but depending on what they say, you could be insta-banned, because I don't put up with it. I mentioned that before too. If you're going to be a hateful person, that's not the kind of energy I want on my channel or my stream, and you will just be deleted. You will be banned and deleted. It doesn't bother me none. Like, I don't know you. just block you, and it doesn't bother me. But anyway, aside from that, so that's why I wasn't here on Wednesday. Thursday, I was going to be here. We were going to do some soul leveling. Unfortunately, like I said, I've been having really bad flare-ups recently. I do have a doctor's appointment with my neurologist coming up, so I'll keep you guys kind of updated on what's going on with that. But essentially, I don't think I've mentioned this one in particular. I have a lot of spinal problems. Most of them are in my lower back, but up in my spinal here, cervical, it started back last December. So basically what happened was, I worked for a photography studio when the pandemic was very, very bad. And so I decided, because I wasn't getting any customers with my business, so I decided to go and work for a studio for a while. The studio, because of the lack of photographers willing to go in person during a pandemic and being up close and personal with people, especially without masks on. They didn't want to do that. I myself at the time didn't have much of a choice, because my family needed the money, and so I went. Luckily, I'm in a lot better situation now than I was last Christmas, but it happens. So I was working for them, and there was like 4, 5 of us, and we barely got any breaks. And the goal was for me, because of my disabilities, that I was only supposed to work the weekends, but that didn't happen. I worked more than I was supposed to, and basic how it goes. You kind of get guilted into coming in, even if you don't want to. So stuff like that was happening. And, I mentioned again to my boss at the time, I said, look, I have a disability in my spine. That's why I only said I could work the weekends. And you're working me too hard, basically. And their response to that was basically, you knew how active this job was going to be when you started. And I didn't say anything to that at the time, but now I really, really wish that I would have been like, yo, excuse me, yo, that wasn't the deal. That's not the plan. You knew when I started I had disabilities. I disclosed that information to you. So you're kind of like really effing up with my rights right now. But I needed the money more than I cared about my health. And that's why now I say it's so important that I worry about my health. Because of that situation, what ended up happening was mid-December, I was 8 hours a day taking photos. There was no one to replace me. Normally there's some kind of rotation where a photographer comes in, does a shoot, and then you come in and you do a shoot. So that way, you get a little itty bitty breaks in between to rest your arms, because it's a very active job, photography is. And while I was doing it one day, I felt in the back of my neck a popping sensation, and my left arm kind of slumped. I nearly dropped the camera. I was able to grab it with my right hand, and I could not move my left arm. Along with in the back on my shoulder blade, was where the pain was coming. I know it sounds weird, but where the pain was coming from, I ended up getting these really bad spasms. Imagine never-ending Charlie horses, and I still get these to this day because of this. And so I told my boss then and there, I was like, I think I need to go to the hospital. I need to leave. Something's wrong. They tried to get me into staying. I ended up actually staying 3 more hours for them. So I worked a total of 4-hour shift. I think at that day it was only like an hour or so into my shift when it happened. And so I worked 4 hours, and I was just in major pain. And the photographer with me, she was just unhappy about it, not having it. And I told her, I said, look, I can make sales and stuff, but I don't think I can use my left arm. And they thought I was lying about it. And I was like, no, I'm serious. There's something seriously wrong. After that 4-hour mark, I was like, I need to go. I need to go to the hospital. The boss needs to come in and do something, because I can't. I don't mean to leave you by yourself, but I have to go. I need to get this checked out. So I left, and I went to the hospital, which, if you know anything about America, you know that that's already a fucking death sentence and fucking hospital bills as it is. I went to the hospital. They took a look at my spine, and I found out I had a spinal cord compression there. And so that's kind of the biggest problem when I'm not here, is what's happening, is because that spinal, it's not fixed, and they won't fix it because of my age. I'm too young. And so I'm basically SOL until I'm 50, is what they told me. But it still like gets caught every now and again, that spinal cord compression. And because of it, when it gets really bad like that, all I can do is take a muscle relaxer, a very strong muscle relaxer, and it puts me to sleep. And then I have nightmares because it induces nightmares. So I don't have very great sleep because of that either. But that's what happened, and I really hate when I say I'm going to be here and then I'm not. So I'm sorry about that. So we're doing, for the rest of the week, on a little bit more of a positive note, we're doing Omniscient Reader and LSC tonight. LSC is when we normally do on Fridays. Then Saturday, we've got Cubera. And Sunday, we're going to be doing Tower of God New Chapter Reaction, and afterwards we'll do solo leveling. So try to make up those days. Anyway, let's get started. Kind of wanted a little bit more people to funnel in, but that's okay. We'll get started. Let me get the music going again. Maybe we need something a little bit more intense right now. Trying to find something. Well, we may go with that. Let's stick with this one for right now. Because it looks like we're about ready to... Jesus. Crackle, crackle. So someone did catch this last time, and at the fact that they were burning bodies here. And someone, like, even mentioned that, oh, could you just imagine, like, the smell in this room right now? Like, these people have been slaughtered. But also, it's so horrible. It's so gruesome to look at, but at the same time, the paneling is so pretty. Okay. Newcomers. Hey, you. Who's your king? Is it you, or is it that woman you're with? I doubt it's that kid. Whoosh. Many constellations are annoyed by the small fry in your way. A few constellations want you to take immediate action. Hey, why aren't you... Slash. Oh, is that Gillion? Wait, what? He's not allowed to kill. Oh, damn it. Get him. Huh? Gasp. How is he so fast? Or maybe he's not killing him. He's just, maiming him. Splat. Thud. Thud. Bang! Gillion! Holy shit! He's just out here beating the shit out of people with Thor's hammer. Like, that's iconic. Thud. Wait! I'll do it, Gillion! I don't mind doing it myself. Still, let me. Poor baby. Spurt. I'll do Gillion's job from now on. Will you be alright? I'll be fine. I can do it better. Oh, Gillion. Something like this will keep happening. What should I do? What is it? Please, calm down. I'm not here to fight you. I see you're quite skilled. You wiped the entire Chungjiang No group without any passive skills. They were a pretty competent bunch. For somebody, I can't speak, who lost their king. They lost their king, so that's why they were so rowdy. But you've arrived a bit late. Most kings have already entered the dungeon. They'll be fighting one another right about now. It's obvious who will come out on top. The last king who passed through was the one who made this mess. And who is that? Have you heard of the Tyrant King? He is the most powerful king in the Northern Seoul area. People are already saying that he will be the one to sit on the ruler's throne. The Tyrant King, the most powerful. But here's what I think. Although he's strong, the Tyrant King will never be able to occupy the ruler's throne. He may be strong, but he's no leader. A true king should attend to the needs of his people above all else. The needs of his people? Looks like he's really immersed in his role. The king I follow is someone who can do exactly that. That's why so many incarnations follow him. I am certain that he will be the one to take over the ruler's throne. This king must have entered one of those doors too. And the reason he's still here is... What is it that you're trying to say? Want me to join you? I'm just here to make a suggestion. Would you like to form an alliance with us? To act as recruiter? Why should we? Think about it. What will happen if a madman ends up with a legendary sword and in control of Seoul on the ruler's throne? Don't you think we should stop that from happening at all costs? I guess that makes sense. An alliance against the Tyrant King was formed in TWSA as well, but in the third regression. Maybe it's because the future has changed? Soon our group will fight against the Tyrant King. We have already talked to a few other kings about this. If you're still not sure, you can decide after meeting with our king. Oh, there he is. Creak! Your Majesty, Dash. Is that? He's got that face you see on TikTok a lot with the 2 eyes and the mouth. That's exactly what I'm seeing right now. Clank. Ooh. We have been awaiting your return, Your Majesty. That's him, right? He even shaved his head just like his constellation. Yes, it seems so. Looks like they're very in tune with one another. Omniscient Reader, Episode 62, Chapter 14, Master of the Throne. Oops. Guangchua Moon, current position, target station, Changsun, home base station. Alright. Character summary, name, Swangyong Cha, age 26, supporting constellation One-Eyed Maitreya, Archbrute cult leader, heroic, Maitreya King, heroic, personal skills. Weapon proficiency level 5. Mental barrier level 3. Eloquent speech level 3. Skillful deception level 3. False prayer level 1. Stigma, promised land level 2. Mind reader level 2. Accused as the devil level 3. Overall stats, stamina level 28. Damn, look at his stats here. Strength level 26, agility level 28, mana level 25. Overall evaluation. No one can escape his one eye, which sees through all. Be careful not to cough when in his presence. I'm Sangjiong Cha. I'm Dr. Kim. He should have been here. I'm a skilled face reader. You want me to read your fortune? Go ahead. I was wondering when he'd ask. Sangyeong Cha has activated the skill Mind Reader level 2. Ha! Gongyi's Stigma Mind Reading doesn't allow the user to see the target's attribute window, but provides a rough summary. I didn't know it was this awkward though. For example, he'd see this for a kind-hearted person. You want me to work on the weekend in your place? Sure thing. Haha, a pushover devil. And this for someone who'd betray him in the future. I swear that I haven't told anyone about this. The backstabbing devil. That's how the skill works. Ding! The devil who should not be messed with. Dang. Sangyeong Cha has learned that you are a devil who should not be messed with. Devil? What? Really? Here we go. This is interesting. No, wait. I must be mistaken. Yes, listen to your constellation. I guess Gongyi doesn't want to fight me. You startled me. We will proceed as planned in an hour. We're running a bit late, but I'm looking forward to your contribution. Why do I feel he's slightly disappointed that I wasn't labeled a devil? I was close. I am relieved, though. Who are you? Oh, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Sang-Yong Han. I am Mr. Sang-Yong Cha's assistant. This constellation Wangyan since he's Gongyi. Personal skill character profile activated. Ding! This character does not have a registered character profile. This person's profile cannot be browsed using character profile. Okay, so we've kind of seen before that when the way that Doctor's kind of looking at this is the people who have profiles are already a part of the story. The people who don't are real people. And so what we know, at least from Doctor's understanding, is that even people who once didn't have a profile, which means that they were considered a real person, will eventually be incorporated into the story. That's kind of the dilemma. So right now it's basically saying that this person's a real person. What? What is it? This bastard. It's nothing. I thought I'd seen a devil for a moment. I see. The devil, you say? Our king has arrived. Your Majesty. Are they on your side as well? Yes. They have all agreed to join forces with us. From left to right, the coward king, Gyeong-Yoon, the Brawl king, Baeko Kim, and lastly, the Earth Dragon King, Tae Seong-gyu. Hey, One-Eye, you already made it out. That was quick. Quite, you earthworm devil. I think that man's constellation might be Gyeong-Leon. Gyeong-Leon. I once read that the later Big J's king was birthed by an earth dragon. An earth dragon? Meaning earthling. The other kings of the period called Gyeong-Leon, the son of an earth dragon, to mock him. She found out his constellation is based on her knowledge of history. Who his constellation is. As Song has said, he is Tae Seong-gyu, the Earth Dragon King, one of the 7 kings of Seoul. He's one of the few noteworthy people in this group. There are quite a few people who have royalty as their constellation, starting with Queen Jinseong. The situation will be similar in other countries as well. The constellation naval warfare god is looking forward to the appearance of a new fabled constellation. The constellation Bald Army General is watching the situation unfold with clenched fists. In Japan, Nobunaga Oda and the other heroes of the Sengoku period should be at war using their incarnations. Well, that sucks for whoever Oda's person is. Well, I mean, he'll be fine for a little while. I know a very limited knowledge of Japanese history, and I'm starting to learn a little bit more about Korean history as well. I've mentioned this before, but I really find, just history in general, it doesn't matter which country it's from. History in general, to me, is just very fascinating. And I'm a person who believes that we can learn a lot from history. Unfortunately, not everybody holds that same viewpoint, and we just end up repeating history over and over again, because humans just never learn. But it's still very interesting nonetheless. And I know Oda, he did eventually unite the clans, only to be killed later on by one of the people that he looked to the most, I believe. Or maybe it wasn't Oda himself, but his son, something like that. In the end, his clan was overtaken just like he had done. And someone else came into power and then became the first king of Japan, is my understanding. And in England, Richard the Lionheart, Henry 8th, and others should be clashing as well. Like I've said, the 4th scenario was created for the historical constellations. Is everyone here? Crackle, crackle. Our target is the Tyrant King, who entered the 3rd door. 2 innocent kings have died at the hands of the Tyrant King, who was after their star jewels. Many of you have already lost your king to him. So that's why the lobby was full of dead bodies. Yeah, I was kind of wondering that too, because if you think about it, like, when it seemed really menacing, but aside from the people who kind of attacked him at the beginning, they really didn't do a whole lot to attack him. You would have thought that there would have been all-out brawl. The Tyrant King must have killed 2 other kings here and taken their star jewels, which means that if I deal with the 3rd door, we'll be able to obtain all 7 star jewels. I get my hands on the Star of Greed, the reward item for the room of the North Star. The Coward King times 1, the Earth Dragon times 1, the Brawl King times 1, the Maitreya King times 1, the Tyrant King times 3. This will be a fight to claim what is rightfully ours. Each one of you will be remembered as a warrior who fought to write a new chapter in history. Yeah! Roar. Just until a few months ago, they used to live in a democratic country. This is exciting. I feel as if I'm a character in a Wuxia novel. A Wuxia novel? You know how there's always a mysterious treasure map that guides you to a remote location? And it says that a powerful sword lies hidden in a stone chamber. Whoever wields the sword shall become the most powerful in all the land. A common cliche of the genre. You must have read a few Wuxia novels, Doctor. I've read quite a lot, but there's always a twist to that cliche. It turns out that the treasure map was fake all along. I see. The warriors who came after the treasure fall into a trap, and the one who planned it quietly gets his way. The situation we're in right now will very well be just that. You know what? Holding on to this thought for a minute. If you're like me, and you're someone who reads a lot, or watches like a lot of anime, or just TV in general, the thing that ends up sucking is that there always comes a time when you've read or watched enough of that genre that everything kind of meshes together, and then you kind of can predict what happens. And it's so funny to me because I'll be sitting like either watching something, most of the time this is more falls in the watch category, but I'll be sitting on the couch just watching along, especially with my little sister. She kills me, and I'll say that's gonna happen, and then I'll get it like on the nail correct, and my sister will just sit there and be like, devil. Because I'll know. I'm like, no, there's nothing magical about that. It's just obvious if you've watched enough of it that you know what's gonna happen. The situation we're in right now could very well be just that. That's just a possibility, but I would be disappointed if it was. What? Why? A cliche like a fake treasure map is trite. I'd say that it just goes to show how tried and true they are. What a lame excuse. If an author uses such cliches just because they're tried and true, I'd say they should be ashamed to call themselves an author. Well, this isn't a novel we're talking about. I know that we're not characters in a novel. But what if I told you there really was an author who wrote everything that's happening right now? Sorry? What would you do if you were the author, Dokja? Well, I haven't really thought of that since my name is Dokja. Dokja means reader in Korean. I don't think you'll be any different. You'll end up resorting to the same cliches to provide your readers with such cheap thrills. I'm beginning to really like this guy. I hope he sticks around a little while longer. What's gotten into you? You sure sound like an author. I'm not saying that cliches are bad. I'm only saying you should never plagiarize. Plagiarize? Yes, plagiarize. Uh-oh. Well, all stories are the same with the only minor differences in details. And he's not wrong. Could you really call that plagiarizing? What? Watch him be like the author of that one, or know about it or something. I would do things differently. Do things different? How? For example, Slash, huh? What the heck is he doing? Like this. What the fuck? Well. And here I was saying, yo, I hope he sticks around. I kind of like him. Of course. I do like this webtoon because it's hard to predict what's going to happen next. I mentioned a little while ago, when you read a lot of a genre, it starts to kind of mumble together. And then it's easy to know what's going to happen. I love that this one doesn't follow into the same categories. Like, it definitely follows under that the main character is OP. And for Clarence, the main character of this webtoon, not TWSA. So, the webtoon being Dakja, being the main character. It does kind of follow into that. I know some people would disagree, but the difference is that there's a lot of twists and turns that happen, and it keeps you on your toes. Not everything in the genre does that. But this is hilarious. There's no point in hiding anymore, is there? Plop. Ah! Whoa, what the hell? Turn. This is interesting, Dakja. Main scenario number 4. He's not dead, so he's another body double? So he was the creator of that one thing, then. Number 4, the King's Qualification. Category main, difficulty A. Clear condition, occupy the ruler's throne on the main street of Gwangwamun. Time limit 8 hours, reward 10,000 coins, penalty for failure. Only those who have completed the hidden scenario, the King's Path, can take part in the scenario. The king who occupies the ruler's throne will be given absolute command over the other kings. There are special additional clear conditions available in this scenario. King's Qualification 1. The one worthy of the throne shall be braver than the rest. The throne does not want a weak king. He must have at least a black flag in order to sit on the throne. Additional qualifications will be revealed shortly. Alright, well, let me switch over here real quick to intermission. And we also... Oh, no, never mind. I thought I saw something different up here for a second. But nope. Okay, first we're going to heart this chapter. And then next, we're going to switch to... Oh, I do have it at the top. It remembers. Good. Okay. Damn, this conversation between Dakja and the fake Arthur was really great and fun to read. I kind of had this feeling that it was the fake Arthur, but I also... Hello, Chips. How are you doing tonight? But I also really liked him anyway, and I want to see more of their interactions. Whether he's a good guy or a bad guy or not, I felt like he was really interesting. The minute of silence when they both figured out each other's identity is gold. Edit, is gold a word I can use in this context? My English is subpar, so I wouldn't know. Yes, you're fine. How am I doing? Today, I'm doing good. Yesterday, not so much. But every day is a new day, and today is good. Anyone feels a little stressed that Gilliang is so ready to kill people? Edit, yes, I know that someone has to do it, because if people Dr. Harm were to bleed out, their death would be on his hands, but all I'm saying is it's a little disturbing that Gilliang do it without any sense of guilt and remorse. I understand that the world they live in is to kill or to be killed, but even so, Gilliang thought he would be better at killing people than Sangha, an adult. Edit. Y'all, I get it, please. Sounds like they're hitting the or getting. Are you planning to continue reading Kibera? Kibera is tomorrow, friend. Probably around 8 or 9 o'clock. My time, so Central Time. So, yeah. I get what they're trying to say, but probably what people were saying in the comments is, one, it is a kill or be killed world. Also, I just personally think there's something going on that is different with Gil Young's character. So, I don't know, it's difficult for me. I think he's going to become a lot more important in the future than what we realize right now. Oh my gosh, yes, my dude. I love this guy. The constellation Lazy Broke Weeb don't like this social gathering and is not feeling sleepy due to cold weather. 5 coins have been sponsored. I love how plagiarists are just left out of the profile system because the author considered them scum. Oh, is that what that is? They're not considered, they're not considered people, or, I mean, they're not considered to be part of the game or whatever because they're plagiarists? I didn't think that was what it was. I don't know. I don't think that's necessarily what it is. I think it's trying to say that real people are there, and what we know so far is people who have read it up to a certain point stay real, and then they kind of become part of it. I mean, there's some instances where this may not be true. Sangha is a good kind of example of that because we don't know if she's read it or not. It doesn't seem like she has, but she's still real, which means that maybe it depends on the person too. So because Doctor sees her as a real person, then she stays a real person. Maybe it has something to do with the relationship. I don't know. So that's going to be more interesting going forward. But I think the reason why he's considered a real person is because he plagiarized off of TWSA. So he's read TWSA up to a certain extent, which is why he's still real. A devil who should not be messed with. The Maitreya King actually can read the future. Yep. You have lost your head privileges. The cat and mouse between the Arthur and Doctor is really cool. I gotta say though, I really do like his character. I hope he is around. Whether or not, I realized it right away. Whether he is around more later. But like to see. At least to the end of this arc. And see how it plays out. Every bit of back and forth between the plagiarizing Arthur, I don't think he's gonna join the group though. After I kind of realized who he was, yeah, I don't think he's going to be joining the group. But that would be kind of interesting if he did. It would be an unlikely scenario. Every bit of back and forth between the plagiarizing Arthur and Doctor is just fantastic, from the dialogue to the dramatic shading to those smirks. These next couple of chapters are going to be great. I guess Doctor is really ahead of the game. I love that look at other countries. So cool. Yeah, I was kind of thinking about it from my country then, because it's like historical stuff. So like, would it be like George Washington, and who would he be fighting? You know, things like that. Because we got to see Japan and Europe and a whole bunch of different things. That's actually really cool. I like that they threw that in there. That's what's going on in other parts of the world. I guess America wouldn't exist, so what would be going on over there? Or does it just go from the earliest historical point? Or pick a spot, you know? I don't know. Maybe the Civil War then would be what it is. Is Doctor the only king without a cool outfit? He's still wearing the robe he borrowed from Huion and still has no shirt or underwear. Yes. Yes. But to be honest, he trades in a cool outfit for cool ability. I'll take that. Doctor seems to have a secret ability that protects him from everyone's bullshit. Papa Doctor gotta teach his son that killing shouldn't be that easy for him. Don't want to see Gillian end up as a serial killer. I don't think that's necessarily... Okay. I think what people are having a hard time understanding is that because Gillian is young, like what, 12, 11, 12, maybe 13, that he shouldn't be able to kill like that. But I've mentioned before, kids are usually the first to adapt in a situation. They're like little sponges. They will just learn and take on super quick. We've seen that with what's going on in the world today, that they're little adapters. They will do what's necessary to survive, just like everybody else, but they're quicker at it because they don't know. Like when you get up to a certain age, you become more stuck in your ways because that is what you know, and it's harder to break free from that. But a kid is still learning and adapting and evolving, so they're easy to adapt to the situation because of it. And so I think seeing him as a serial killer is kind of like, I don't know, I would not necessarily say he's a serial killer. Because just because he's wanting to protect the people he cares about, I don't know. Oh, Doctor, you silver-tongued bastard, I love you so much. Ah, yes. Alright, well, I think that's all we're gonna do for today. Along with Omniscient Reader, Ellisade will start up in a little bit. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll have this on YouTube either tonight or tomorrow sometime. So if you're watching this here on Twitch and you haven't already followed, then please go follow. If you're watching this later on YouTube, please like and subscribe. And I will see you guys all here in a few minutes for some Ellisade. Unless you watch this later, then whenever I see you next. Bye-bye.